Hello, YouTube. Um, I'm gonna say that this video I want to dedicate to my subscribers, especially the ones that have given me positive feedback, because this your subscription is about to be justified because I'm gonna show you something about what how our planet was made. It's gonna be pretty obviously the truth, and you're gonna know that it's never been figured out before. There's no way. I can already see that in my mind. I don't see how anybody could have ever figured this out. But I mean, not to say that I'm the only one that could have. It's just it goes against everything that what we've been taught, and I can't even believe I found it myself. Um, put it this way: 9 out of 10 trolls gave it 2 thumbs up. The, the last troll said he was having a bad day, and that's why he thumbs it down. Just kidding. But no, but seriously, this is gonna change everything. And this is to the people who keep telling me that what I'm doing isn't scientific, and that basically I have no business doing this, and I should leave this up to the professionals. Yeah, I dedicate this video to you too, also. Okay, because without people like you, I wouldn't have been driven to prove you wrong, and I'm gonna prove you wrong right now. And you can guarantee you're gonna be proved wrong. And this is actually pretty freaking amazing. But I'm gonna start somewhere, and by the time I'm done with the video, you should pretty much get what I'm going for. I'm a little nervous actually making this because in my videos I don't plan them out. I just start recording, and where they go, they go. And so that's why maybe some of my stuff doesn't seem so, like documentary, like what you see on TV, because I really am one guy working on this whole thing myself. I mean, I don't have anybody doing, anything for me. I'm basically doing this, making my own videos, and then I just give it to you, and then you can do with it with whatever you want. And this is for the people that actually believe me from the beginning, especially that I can. It's awesome, but you could say everything is all right here. The whole story is right there. And let's get started. What I'm going to show you is the connection with Yellowstone Park in the world. Basically, all the people that are worried about Yellowstone Park being a super volcano. Well, it's not really a super volcano. Okay, I know it. Volcanoes are the aftermath. They're what's like residual energy being released from the area. That's all it is. What you see now is not how it is always. Like you see a volcano erupting. Well, it it wasn't always like that. What made that area to be volcanic to begin with was an electrical discharge, and that's what produced this whole area. Everything you see here is the result of a massive hot electrical vortex discharge. They're all wrapped into one thing. So you're gonna get this crazy aftermath and images left behind. Okay, you could think of this as not being a continent, but being more of the core of the planet. Okay, because that's what you're seeing here. You're seeing images of the core of our planet, and because they're surfaced and we live on top of them, people have just assumed that they're nothing more than a continent. Well, there is more going on here than just a continent, and that's this features, and its features of all the continents give away exactly how this planet was made. It's that simple. It couldn't be any easier. Um, sure, yeah, if you need data and stuff like that, go get it. I guarantee it's going to match up to this. That's my thing. People that claim that this isn't being scientific, well, go talk to Einstein because you believe everything he said, and I guarantee you half the stuff he said is wrong, but you believe it, and he has nothing to all his stuff is inside his head. At least I can show you from Google Earth what I'm talking about, so you have a chance of actually seeing something. All right, well, let's get to it. Okay, YouTube. Here is the Yellowstone Park, of course, and a direct connection to the Grand Canyon. I have to keep my mind from going blank on me because I'm under a lot of pressure right now. Okay, so you can clearly see there's a connection here, right? Apparently other people cannot. I don't see how you could not. You got a line going straight from one to the other. I don't think it could be any more obvious that they're connected than that. But what I did here is I made an overlay of this area, because what I'm trying to show you is that this area is actually this area, and that actually what I'm trying to show you also is that the Grand Canyon discharge sweeps through and creates the basin here in California. And I know that this is not in any geology book. I can guarantee you that. I don't even think there's a hint of it actually being a possibility. So I'm pretty sure here that I'm showing you something that nobody knows. I mean, I've showed something about this before, maybe a year ago, but I don't think people caught on to it then. So I'm just going to assume that nobody knows about this. And I pretty much bet money on that. And I guarantee you, by the time I'm done with this video, you'll see things that I guarantee nobody knows about this planet, but you'll know that it happened, because it'll be that obvious when I show it. All right, so here's the Yellowstone Park area right here, and here we'll bring it in, and you're going to start to see things line up, like here and here. And when I drop this down, you're going to see it line up. Where is it? Okay, hold on, I gotta find it. Right here, I believe. Oh, let me get the other image, because I think, oh crap, hold on. Actually, this image should do alright. You can see here how it starts to fit into there, and when it fits down into there, well, you can see these other areas up here fit in too. And then here's Lake Tahoe. You see how this hook thing right here actually is this right here. That fits around Lake Tahoe. Which is people believe is an extinct ancient volcano, but to be honest with you, nothing here is ancient, because all this happened at the same time so far that I've noticed. Now I'm also juggling around another theory that this either happened all at the same time, or it happened in like a pattern, like a reoccurring pattern, like a reoccurring cataclysm. But so far, from what I see, it looks like everything so far happened at once. So this may be the first cataclysm, was the creation of our planet. The second cataclysm may be the growth of it. I'm not sure. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. I know something's happening that we don't know about. But okay, so you can see there's Lake Tahoe, and as this is coming through, you're going to see other things that line up with Lake Tahoe. So this had to happen rather quickly right here. What formed this area, this happened fast. This didn't take billions of years of your fingernails growth of movement. This happened rapidly, and it happened all at once, I think. So anyways, so it goes through, and boom, there it is. All okay. So, but I just want to show you to make sure you understand these reoccurring patterns here with Yellowstone Park, because Yellowstone Park, they call it a supervolcano. So basically, it's a marker that's going to prove my theory of reoccurring patterns all around the world, because something that powerful that made that um, would have to leave uh, fingerprints everywhere. Okay, this isn't. For some reason, scientists kind of want you to think this is a unique one-time uh, thing. Each one of these is unique in its own very way, but they're not. They're reoccurring patterns like that. You see what I'm saying? I can show you this. This is scientific. The fact that I can show you this and align these up is 100% scientific. So the people that keep coming to my channel and that think that they're challenging my 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 knowledge of science, you're not challenging my knowledge of science. All you're doing is proving to me that you don't know anything. That's all you're doing. So keep the smug people too. The it's so funny, a dude like uh, I don't know how many times I've been talked down to, called names. Some of this stuff even from my own family and friends. So don't feel like you're a, this is a just a stranger coincidence. This is a strange phenomenon that I even notice with the people that are the closest to me. So anyways, it's really weird. You think outside the box, you might as well consider yourself a leper in this world. It's true. Oh yeah, you're not only a leper, but you're mentally disabled, or you're this, you're that, you're anything but anything worth someone's spit, I guess. It's just really weird. It's odd how the human race has almost been designed to keep itself from moving forward, and it's these trolls, these people that treat people a certain way because they're a little different, or they say things that are a little different. You're like the anti advancement in our spirituality and growth as a group of beings in this universe, unknown universe to us. I guarantee you it's not unknown. We've been tricked to believe it's unknown, because I think all this information is already inside of us, believe it or not. You can believe that, or you can throw it in the garbage, whatever you guys got to do, but I know that there's people that are subscribed to my channel that don't think that, and I'm glad that I caught your guys' attention, because you're gonna see it was worth it. Okay, so this is what I showed you so far. There's This area is the same as this area. You can see the alignments. You can see everything that I say is supported by visual evidence. As I move this through, you can see the alignments continuing on, and then they abruptly stop right there, right? Well, there's always a reason for everything. So this may turn into a long video, but I can guarantee you it's worth watching, no matter who you are. Okay, so I just want to show you a far away shot so that we get this understood, that what I'm showing you is 100% valid. There's no doubting. I don't want people to move forward from each part of the video with a doubt. And that's why I say to do this on your own time too, if you're interested. If you don't care, then go outside and do whatever people that don't care want to do, I guess. So anyway, so you can see this lines up here. Our Yellowstone Park here comes in, lines in the first one. Okay, everything's lining up perfect. You can still see things are lining up here. Line up here as it swings across here. Okay, that we can all agree on. And then we can also agree on, hopefully, that it does it again here. This is like a double, triple layer, I guess. This is right here that you just saw is repeatable up here in the same sequence, because Yellowstone Park fits here too. Because that's what recurring patterns do. They reoccur. And this is what I'm showing you as my evidence. And by the way, by me showing you this as evidence is also proving that plate tectonics is wrong, because plate tectonics can't not account for what I'm showing you visually, which means in science that plate tectonics has to change. It doesn't matter what you or I think, it has to change. It doesn't matter how many trolls think that this is BS, it has to change. It doesn't matter, because the visual evidence that I'm showing you is accurate, and it's visual, and it's 100% more powerful than a theory itself. So the theory has to change. You can't make this change. You can't make what I'm showing you change, because I'm showing you this is how it is. So you can see the images. Those images override anything that you think. Guaranteed. That's how it is. I don't care. I mean, I know this goes against the grain from what trolls think, but that's why trolls are always wrong. And it's funny that they don't see it that way, but they're gonna have to, because that's the way it is. If I can show you with your own eyes what's going on here, you basically need to believe it. Or if you don't, do it yourself and show me how I'm wrong. That I throw that as a challenge to any troll that's watching this, or skeptic scientist. Doesn't matter who you are. I don't care how many degrees you got. That nothing changes what I'm showing you here. You can see these alignments are aligning up here. You see that? That's solid evidence. If this is a fingerprint, this would be a conviction, okay, in the court of law. And you know, if it's good enough for the court of law, it's good enough for you. Because as I line that up, you're going to see that other areas are lining up too, which supports this, which makes this, for me and you, well, impossible to debunk. It does. And I know that's going to infuriate some of these trolls, but that's just the way it's going to be. You mad? I mean, get mad, bro, but what can you do about it? Nothing, okay? You can thumbs down my video. That's what you can do. But then that just shows how much of an arrogant prick, you know, you are. Because who goes around thumbing down videos because they upset them? Like, if this is me, or if I'm a troll and I'm watching this, basically, you know what I would do? I'll go and apologize. I'd be like, I'm sorry, guy. You are right. I can see that. I'm sorry. But you're not going to hear that from trolls. No, they're going to go run off and probably run away from this, if anything, which is cowardly, of course. But that's why there's trolls to begin with. You don't see any hero trolls running around, do you? No trolls running into burning buildings and rescuing babies or kids or anything like that. You don't see that. That's why they're trolls. Okay, so with that said, and this proven, let's move on. But before I move on, let me show you a faraway shot so I can thoroughly prove this. Yellowstone Park is not a unique feature on our planet, but it's actually everywhere. As you can see, it's up here in Canada, in Alaska, here in Alaska. Where else do you want it to be? You want it to be over here? I'm sure it could fit right over here somewhere once I rotate it. And it does. I guarantee it. I don't even have to actually double check this. I could leave that up to the professionals, and they can find out that I'm right, because here's Yellowstone Park again, fitting in areas that, well, it shouldn't be, but it does. And you can say the same thing for the Grand Canyon. You can see this teacup looking shape. Here's the Grand Canyon. Here's that. People are so, you know what's a big mystery here? Is these craters that, let's see, here we go. Here's one right there. That's a big mystery to geologists, and I know you know that. And to anybody, they think that, well, a lot of people think, well, a meteor must have done that. Well, the problem with that is that meteors don't make more than one impact that match up. So okay, let me show you with a more solid cutout of what's going on. Yellowstone Park. check it out as it goes through. You can see ahead of time, you can see that there is a huge match here. And here's the thing is that you can, by doing this, you can find features that are missing from Yellowstone Park. Maybe the volcano itself. Okay. I'll do this with a transparent one too, but I just kind of wanted to show you that you can see that there are pieces missing that are being found right here. These islands and stuff. Are they just random volcanoes sticking up through the water, or are they left behind from another area that moved out of here? And then this is where it gets really interesting, because if you look, this looks very much like a reverse of this. Because if you think about it, vortexes rotate like a tornado. Okay, see, watch here. We got this area. And then it flips. And you got what looks like a duck or platypus or something. See what I'm saying? That easy. It certainly is scientific, and it certainly is easy. You can, I think, you know, this might be related to these right here as it's rotating around and reversed, by the way. This is not just rotated, this is reversed. So this is the back side or the front side of what I'm showing you here. Because that's how our world, you know, I hate to say this, but, you know, there's a lot of people that want to believe that the earth is flat and stuff like that. Maybe, but this right here is showing a third dimension, three-dimension rotation and everything that you see in the real world. You see this line right here? So you get it, right? And then that dot. Okay, I can tell you one thing, that because this looks like it has a peak in the middle, something has rolled around, something has rotated and worn around this for one. Okay, that's why you got these beveled edges and stuff like that, because that's what I think. I mean, and then lo and behold, you know what? Yellowstone Park fits in here too, this way. Damn this Yellowstone Park, right? It seems to be the key to understanding the whole world. Yeah, look at this also, this duckbill, whatever, you know what I'm saying? If I rotate that a hair more, which I will, there like that. And then, you know, it's odd, as you see this island right here, it looks a lot like the part of the Grand Canyon right here, doesn't it? It does. And that's an odd shape too, believe it or not. I mean, a semicircle or whatever. So, you know, you got right here, actually, here you go. Yeah, remember how I showed you that this is the head, whatever, and the bill or whatever, part of it? Well, lo and behold, here's the Grand Canyon, and here's that cup shape, whatever. That pretty interesting, don't you think? And then here you go. And as I continue through, here's the rest of the. Kind of weird how this all falls into place. But let's go back to the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon is pretty trippy because they think that water, like a laser gun, I guess, gouged out these canyons. And I'm pretty sure that water could not do this. I guarantee it. Look how sharp these edges are. Water would have round those off. Not only that, it wouldn't have carried all the dirt out. This is a lot of dirt and rocks and stuff like that to be blown clear out of here. Water wouldn't do that. If it had the power to do that, it would have destroyed these cliffs. It's kind of obvious, you know. It's like you can use common sense in science. As a matter of fact, I think it's usually a bonus. But yeah, like that. If that water blew out all that dirt, why is this here then? You know, with a sharp edge on it. Okay, look at the size of this. But what it does though show you is that our planet's in layers. Okay, but then of course accepted science then wants you to believe that, but underneath this, where you can't see, is a big thick layer called plates. Okay, well, I don't know about that. I just kind of, what I do know is that I'm seeing layers here, and just like you were to have 100 layers of sheets of paper, and you took a electrical, uh, let's say a welder or something, and you were to burn an arc through those papers, and you spread those papers out, you'd have, like I said before, 100 different reoccurring patterns of the same incident that created them all. So you could think of these as pieces of paper. None of them, I don't think, is older than the. Now, here's the thing: is that and I'm sure there's good reason to think this. Okay, well, let's just think that. Okay, the mainstream science tells you that each of these layers is a different age of time, and they claim that the deeper you go, the older you're going back in time. Well, what happens if they're looking at that completely backwards? What happens if it's the older layers are on the outer part, and as you go in, it gets newer and newer? Well, if that was the case, it would then make sense why the surface features of this planet reveal the creation of it. Because just maybe they are looking at this backwards, and this is the oldest part, and this is a little newer and newer and newer, like a rings on a tree. Because, you know, reoccurring patterns don't just have to be on one specific thing. It could be reoccurring patterns in life, you know? Because, I don't know, in a way, like the outer areas of you, I would believe, are also kind of like the older parts, you know? And why would the universe be any different? That's what I'm just saying. Sometimes, like in science, when when something believed is inaccurate and they build upon it, you just end up with one big deception, one big fat problem. It never you in the if you don't get it right from the very beginning, then the result is going to be a disaster, and it's going to take hundreds of years to realize it. But or you can just go ahead and just throw everything that you learned right in the trash and start fresh and start over with a more accurate view of things, so that it, you know, you affect the you know, the future. You can determine, you can affect the future by redoing basically the you know, getting rid of the core of the problem, which is causing everybody to look at things wrong, basically. And I mean, who would believe that water cut this out right here? Look at that. I mean, yeah, if it was like a water jet or water laser, okay, sure, but that's not how it is, though. We don't have a giant water laser shooting water from space, cutting and gouging uh, with precision, uh, straight up and down cliffs, okay, and then um, cutting these little arches in there and stuff like that. You really think that water flowed through here and cut this out like that? That's incredible. Not only would it be a miracle, it's impossible. But you know what? Electricity could erode this out like this. Guaranteed it could. I promise you it could. That's a realistic view. Water, I mean, and it's funny because people believe this, that water did this, but, to me, that seems just absolutely absurd and ridiculous and impossible. But yeah, but that water right there, that proves that the water made this? No. That right there proves that water likes to seek the lowest part of the area. That's all it does. That's all it proves. That water likes to flow in the lowest areas of the land. And that's what it's doing. It's not you're not witnessing the water gouging this out. That's for sure. And you're witnessing the layers here. You got this layer. You see the top of this ridge? It doesn't match the top of this one because the top of this one, where it used to sit here, is gone. It could be left behind as pieces, as islands, or it could be a lot of things. And I'm sure they could be found once you start backing this up in the right order. That's how I roll. Okay, here's the north part of that Basin area in California, and I wanted to show you that the Grand Canyon is responsible for this gouge. The electrical discharge that made the Grand Canyon is also the electrical discharge that made and gouged out this basin, and which also then the Grand Canyon is also basically the base charge or the bottom charge, I guess, of the Amazon River discharge pattern. So they're all related. This is just the beginning of the Amazon River. Okay. This is I not only did I have the Grand Canyon in here, but I have most of the other canyons and stuff that are around it too, so that you can see that there is more odds that the match is actually accurate. So the more information I put in here and the more that lines up, the more you can see that it's accurate. And you can see right out the gate these patterns right here. I don't know, but you can kind of also, it's weird because it also gives me the impression of a spillover, like something flowing. But for now we'll just stick with the the electrical discharge part of it. But you can see how it's lining up in other areas as I run this base. You can see that this is sliding through here. Okay, it's that easy to see, right? And you can see other areas lining up as I slide this through, and it's gouging. You see how this fits around that, and then these fit in here, and they run in the same direction. And then you got to pay attention to these dots right here too, because they prove a lot also. So then we got our gouge moving up a little bit. Actually, it looks like it might have spent a little bit of time here. I'm thinking rotating, but you can see how it's lining up in other areas as I move it around, because I'm moving it around inside the gouge that it left. You see that? And you see that it lines up in, you see the textures in the background up here. You could see that they line up too. See this, and this moves up into here, allowing alignments up here to line up. Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe. But you see this moving in here. This area is the gouge. You can see that it's moving back and forth, filling in wherever the gouge is. You can see the alignments still continue on. Over here. See how moving it through these marks here. You see that? I move it up. I go to fill it up in here, and then I take a look, and sure enough, there'll be alignments there too. Okay. Now I can tell you right here, this spent a lot of time right here. this is a pause or something. Something took place right here that allowed this more time to gouge this area out. I believe these are, now here's the thing is I believe this is spinning like a vortex. But you can see the alignments here, right? And it continues to line up in other areas as I move it through. Okay, so we can agree that there's definitely a relationship going on here with the Grand Canyon area and the Basin of California. Now, let me rotate this around like a vortex and see if anything else matches up. Actually, before I do that, let me show you a further away shot so you can get a more bigger picture here, so that you can see alignments up here. You see that right here? You see how it continues to line up in here? I mean, have I convinced you yet that this area was ground out by the Grand Canyon yet? Because look at these alignments. They continue all the time. And there's only one way they could do that. There's only one way, I guarantee you. Okay, here it is flip-flopped. I've taken it and I've rotated it like a vortex. So this would be like the front of the back of what you were just seeing. And what I'm looking for is alignments too on this way, because I know it's spinning here like a drill. And right there I can start to see my alignments here. So technically this would be just rotating through here, but I'm just showing you, if you know that because that happened, I'm showing you the alignments on one direction and then the other direction. And you can see that, right? This can go up into here. This can fill into here. Here's these marks here where it's sliding through this area. And as I line them up, other areas should line up as they would if this is how it happened, and it did. You can see that, right? That right there. Gets through here, something weird happens. It spends more time in here gouging this area out, and everything's lining up again. Maybe I can even prove that. Hold on. You can see how Lake Tahoe got some of its shape right here, because these are reoccurring patterns all the way through. All the way here. See that? Right there. As I move this over. That's no coincidence, man. You got this lining up here. Come on. You think this is something that someone imagines in their head and then shows you the alignment like this? Give me a break. Because I get a lot of that too. Well, this is in your head. You know, this is called such and such. It's a disorder that people get, and they see similarities with everything they see. Well, that's fun. You know what? That's not true here. Okay, people are weird. I'm sorry, but you know what? It's the normal people that are actually the weirdest. In reality, at least. In delusion, I'm sure everything's all their way. But in the reality of things, in the real world, the real universe, where you know things are because they are, and stuff like that, the normal people are weird. Okay, that's good enough for this right here. Okay, here's this is still reversed. Yeah, this is reversed still. But here's the other part of the basin area, and you can see the alignments match up fantastic. Look at that. Are you kidding me? You really think that, you don't think that the Grand Canyon gouged this basin out after I show you this? Then you have some kind of delusion or disorder. Because this is obviously the truth here. There's just no mistaking this. There's just no way. Look at this right here. You see that? even that. And then as that fits, you can see that this is fitting in here. Look. Even trolls can't deny this. Well, they could, but they would look ridiculous. See that? It is what it is. This fits here. Then it's sliding on through to the other side. Lining up all the way, each time perfect. Perfect like a forensic fingerprint. A forensic scientist right now would be having an orgasm, okay, if he saw this. I guarantee that. And then we go and we rotate it the other way because it's a vortex. And we get all the matching areas from this angle. And then wait till I show you what the vortex looked like by combining these two discharge. See how it fits in there, right? I mean, seriously, is there a troll alive on the planet that can actually say this is not accurate? No. Well, he could, but he'll look like a fool. So it depends on how he feels like he wants to feel, I guess, whether he saw it or not. Okay, so see, you can see the alignments right there. This is solid, by the way. This is absolutely solid. Anybody can put their reputation on this and not worry about getting proven wrong. I guarantee that. Lining up everywhere. So you see what I'm showing you, and then you go look it up yourself and double check me. You're going to find out that I'm right. I think most of you already know I am. And it's not that I'm right, it's that this is the truth, okay? And the truth just can't be, it's the way it is. And that's why I said that I have an unfair advantage over the trolls that are coming to my channel, because I have the truth on my side. Now for something truly disturbing. If you want to see the culprit that made this, let me show you. By combining the two halves, you're going to see what he looks like. Pretty trippy, huh? If I can find a cleanup version of this pattern, I'll show you the cleaner version of it. But it's kind of weird. It kind of looks like, sometimes it looks like a face. Alright. Okay, this will be part 1. And I'm going to immediately work on part 2. And if you found part 1 amazing, part 2 is just as amazing, if not more. Thanks for watching.